This
Central
conference will
here
now
in
be
New Orleans
recorded.
area. Today we have the great opportunity to visit and see a wonderful cruise that's going to be during the solar eclipse in 2026. And Kristen, who is with us today, is with Holland America Cruise Line. He's worked on ships for 11 years and is excellent sharing information on what's available in the ports, what is there to do on the cruise, and just really the whole opportunity to see what's going on this great opportunity. We also today, just a little bit about Travel Central before we get started. Travel Central has been in business since 1988. We have a group of over 25 travel experts whose only goal is to help you plan your vacation from the moment you call in all the way till you return home to make it as a seamless, stress-free vacation as possible, using our knowledge and expertise to get you the best deals, best values, I should say. Not only that, we're part of a large organization called Signature Travel Network that it has negotiated on our behalf many amenities and upgrades and things that we can offer to our clients that's exclusive to us. So we hope you enjoy this presentation on the solar eclipse cruise and learn a little bit about what Holland America offers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kristen.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Melinda. And thank y'all all so much for being here. I am beyond thrilled to be discussing this cruise. I think it is just one of those cruises that just comes along that is just so spectacular in so many facets that if anybody were to go on this cruise, it's going to be one to remember for the rest of your life. And the length of it is also one great feature in the fact that you're going to meet people, you're going to have these experiences. These are the type of cruises that you meet people and you become friends with for the rest of your life. So first of all, before we get into the actual itinerary portion and what you're going to expect on this 28-day solar eclipse cruise, a little bit about Holland America for those of you who are not familiar with it. I love Holland. I've been working with them for 15 years now. About 12 of those were actually on ships as a financial advisor. And I can tell you, we are in the tradition of travel. We have been traveling on our ships since 1873. We have a huge history in the immigration of the late 1800s and early 1900s. We rename our ships the same ship over and over again to bring that sense of tradition from the very first 1873 ship to our current Rotterdam 7, which was inaugurated in 2022. Now, with Holland America Line, we are a mid-sized cruise ship company, which means our ships are going to be in the range of 1,400 to 2,200 people. And that's quite the Goldilocks range. Our ships are made to actually ensure that we see the Norwegian fjords, the Alaska glaciers, the Chilean fjords going into Antarctica, as well as the old Panama Canal. And we not only bring you a modern, beautiful cruising experience, but we love to have those traditions. And again, this is something that we really lean into. A lot of folks, go on the bigger ships, the newest, the glitzy, the glamorous, and we have wonderful, beautiful ships. We love to have little touches of the golden age of cruising. So we have things like the mid service, the Dutch tea. We also have a Dutch day where we celebrate our history with Holland, the Netherlands, to where you can wear something very orange to our Dutch party. You'll also have turn down services with stroop waffles and Lindt chocolates. So those little bits and bobs that may have been lost in the bigger is better type idea is going to be very, very present on our beautiful fleet of 11 ships. Again, between 1,400 and 2,200 passengers. We are really also known for bringing not only the destination to life, but also the dining. So here at the Holland America, you're going to be having multiple different options for dining on the Nieuw Statendam, and I'll have a little bit more information that, but I can tell you, you're going to be having the local plates from either from the Faroe Islands, from Scotland, from Greenland, from Iceland. You're going to be able to enjoy a beautiful facet of what it is to travel. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is our adventure that we are taking together for the next few minutes, and we are going to be taking a 28-day cruise through the Norwegian fjords, Scotland, pretty much almost a circumnavigation of Iceland before hitting the capital of Nuuk in Greenland and going back. Now you can see right over here that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will be viewing the solar eclipse in early August, so August 12th. And that is going to be a huge feature in the overall education, the context of this cruise. We did a very successful 2 sailings in the Mexican Riviera. This past 2024 sold out as well. We bring on NASA scientists, astronomers, astrophysicists, all kinds of different lecturers to really bring out the the enormity of what you are about to see. So let's get started. So first off, we have Rotterdam. This is our home base in Europe. We actually have our original 1800s office still here. We have one of our Grand Dame Noordam ships actually that are here as well that you can go visit if you want to see what it was like sailing in the 1950s on an ocean liner. So here in Rotterdam, we always try to encourage you to work with your travel advisor to see if you would like to maybe come a few days early, maybe spend a couple of days in Amsterdam before going to Rotterdam. But in Rotterdam, it is known as the gateway of Europe, and it is known to the markthalls, a foodie paradise, has the cube houses are a really architectural, unique feature. And one of the best things to do is just to grab a public taxi and be able to see a beautiful vista of the Maas River. And a really fun fact, and I love fun trivia facts about each of these places. So Rotterdam is the home of the first ever floating farm. So there is a floating dairy farm here where cows actually graze on a waterborne platform. And it's really a kind of a symbol of the city's commitment to innovation and really kind of eco-friendly solutions to living where they do in the Netherlands. So the activities, I kind of explained to you these activities of which you'll be seeing, but for this cruise, you'll be having 2 to 3 lectures every one of those sea days. And if it's a short port, you'll be having something in the afternoon. We're going to have great shows, great entertainment for you. And these will be all in your daily program that you will get in your stateroom as well as on the app that you can be able to access through your phone. This is an example of one of our cruises. It's actually, as you can see, kind of more arranged around the Viking cruise that we have. It's a 35 days. And so those are just some ideas that you'll be seeing, but there's also going to be book club. There's going to be religious offerings as well. This is considered one of our legendary voyages. So you will also have bridge instructors and all kinds of trivia and sports and crafts and really wonderful things that you'll be able to experience in your downtime. So going forward, we have our first port of call is Kristiansand. It's known as the summer city because a lot of the locals, it's a favorite destination because it actually has beaches. It has these beautiful picturesque landscapes, wooden houses. It has a great fish market where locals and tourists can go and be able to grab some herring or try some fried fish. And they also have cooking places. And from there's actually lovely little hikes around the inlet. Little walking paths that you can be able to do, as well as explore the other portions of the inland called Postebyen, and there's also a lovely little town called Odroya, which is a really, really scenic island that has a lot of bird life on it. And fun fact again, Kristiansand is home to one of the world's northernmost palm trees. Because it does have a much more of a warmer climate in Norway than most other areas in Norway. And then we have Stavanger, known for its pulpit rock. I have been to Stavanger many, many times. I have never done this because I do have a fear of heights, but I have had friends and guests do this, and they just said that it was one of the best things that they have ever seen, one of the most beautiful areas. So you can actually take a tour and not actually walk onto the pulpit rock. You can actually be able to take a tour, and you can stand where this picture was taken and get this wonderful shot and experience this. But even then, it's too high for me. But maybe you'll enjoy it. Now in Stavanger, it has the beautiful area called Gamla Stavanger, which is Old Stavanger. These are actually wooden houses that were built in the late 1800s and 1900s. They all have flower boxes and beautiful decorations all over it. And it's actually home to the world's oldest canning museum. So if canning is a part of your interest, I'd highly recommend going over to that canning museum. And you can even get some hands-on experience with that vintage machinery that they used to use and back in the day. So then we start getting to our fjorders. So you're going to hear Eidfjordur, Seydisfjordur. These are actually towns that are in fjords in Iceland. This is Seydisfjordur, and here you're going to start really seeing the Viking heritage. They have a great Viking museum. They also have nature reserves, really cute and quaint cafes. All of these little ports I'm not even sure how it makes it, but they also have really vibrant art scenes and artistic flares all throughout the town. It's just really bursting with all sorts of charms. But what you can see here, you can see that blue church over here. There's actually a whole road right here that is painted rainbow, and the locals say that it does get really dark during the winters, and the weather can change, so they love to have a lot of color in their winter times to kind of boost their moods over there. And again, lovely fun fact. So Seydisfjordur was the first place in Iceland to receive an international phone connection. So that first telegraph was laid in 1906, and that's how Iceland was first connected to the world. Now then we have Djupivogur, Iceland. I'm probably really butchering that name. I always butcher this one's name, but it is just a really tranquil fishing village. A lot of these places, their very first, their first product is going to be the sea, the fish, but it's just breathtaking natural beauty. And it's a really kind of a slow era as well. And it dates back really into the late 1700s. It actually still has these homes that were built back then. So they have these really interesting Nordic and Icelandic iconography that you'll see from there. There's also actually sculpture works by a very popular and iconic Icelandic sculpture that you can actually find in there. One of them is known as, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it in Icelandic, but I remember they're called the Eggs of Mary Bay. And it's a really unique outdoor sculpture that has 34 granite eggs, because those 34 eggs represent the different seabirds that are native to the area. That's just kind of a quirky thing that you'll find in like a lot of these Icelandic, just something very unique and something that you didn't think that you'd ever come across when. But another area that's really popular is the black sand beaches. And these were going to be, beaches that were filmed in Game of Thrones and Dune. A lot of the areas of remote places of Iceland, you're going to find maybe some of your favorite TV shows were actually filmed here. Now then we go to Akureyri. So it's called the capital of the north. It's the second most populated city in Iceland. A huge part of the Viking history you'll find in the Akureyri Museum here. But it is also known for the waterfall of the gods, Godfoss Falls. So that is the falls that you see right here, and it's something just not to be missed. Just the power of it is something to behold. And the Mývatn nature baths, if the Blue Lagoons, you're not able to do that in Reykjavik. I actually preferred the Mývatn nature baths and hot springs. I just found it to be much more local, much more natural. It's got a beautiful vista from there as well. So that's my really recommendation. Kind of think of it as like the Blue Lagoon of the North, I guess you could say, of Northern Iceland. For that. And so moving on from there, we have Eidfjordur. We're going into more fjords. really known for their whale watching. They have a gorgeous, fun Arctic fox sanctuary here. The little foxes are just the cutest thing that you'll ever see. And this is where the area called the West Fjords, the West Fjorders. And it's where a lot of kind of adventurers start their treks into the West Fjord. So from here, bird lovers go to Vigor Island from here, and you have the West Fjorders Heritage Museum. We even have a fishing tour, which you can be able to take, and if you do catch anything, you can bring it back. Now, you will be in the area that is kind of the season for puffins. So hopefully you will be able to go to Vigor Island and see the puffins and the eider ducks. They're absolutely so fun to be able to see. But you should have a couple of different options during this gorgeous sailing to be able to go and see those unmistakable birds. Now, then we have Grundarfjordur. And this is the well-known place of this mountain, which is Kirkjufell. And you'll, again, Game of Thrones, if you've ever seen probably any type of Icelandic brochure, this is the mountain. It's one of those that's actually formed of a glacier, but the past ice age was on there, and it rubbed off the rocks on the sides of this mountain. So that's how it got its very interesting shape. But there's all kinds of small villages that you can be able to visit on the tour, on either a bus or even better as a boat. Pardon me. And it's all nestled on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. And it's just got, again, has so much charm from here. And you'll find probably a lot of, if there are anybody that you see around touring, again, they're touring the Game of Thrones a movie or TV show locations for that. Oh, and on that one, there's a really great Icelandic horse tour that you can take from here and be able to see this mountain on top of an Icelandic horse. And then we make our way across the waters over to Greenland. Now, if you're Greenlandic, it's called Pamut, and if you're Danish, it's Frederikshavn. So this is a really, again, a small, but a charming town. Again, the color is very, very important for those nights that it's very dark. So all of these houses and churches are going to be really painted in bright colors. It's just like really a hidden gem to glimpse a really great traditional way of life in the Arctic. These communities are iced in during the winter, so they have to get all their supplies and everything during the summer, and they really try to take advantage. Now, remember, being here in the summer, it's going to be light. You're going to have a very long days. So that's even better to enjoy the days and not only the late nights. Now, the town is also known for its really thriving bird life in the form of what they're called white-tailed eagles. And it's even learned the nickname Home of the Eagles, and you'll actually see little sculptures and things like that, and the kids when they do art on the sides of the buildings for that. But it's actually they found inhabitation from here until like 1500 BCE. And so they do actually have a settlement that you can walk to and be able to see where they found those remnants of that. And from here, you'll even have the opportunity to go off with locals, and the locals will actually give you tours, maybe even take you off on a boat to be able to see Greenland, how they see it. Now, Nuuk is the capital of Greenland, and it's just a really fascinating blend of both the Inuit culture and modern Nordic influences from Denmark, Norway, mostly a bit of Icelandic as well. And it's set around these beautiful peaks. It's got a lot of art. It's got, you can jump off for a bit of RIB boat excursions and beautiful walks in and around the community. It has the Greenland National Museum. Always recommend that anybody should be able to go here. They even have mummies that were here that date back to the 1400s. And it's a great way to just really kind of have a little glimpse of early inhabitants of Greenland. And Nuuk actually means cape in Greenlandic, and it just kind of is a reflection on the fjord-riddled peninsula that you'll see in and around, and actually going into Nuuk as well. Oh, and here I'd highly recommend, one of my favorite things was to actually do a food tasting tour. And it's very interesting because they're going to actually share food that they would have preserved in the winter. So some of this, again, it's part of travel. We take it as a form of respect. But it is going to be some very interesting tastes that you're probably not used to in the form of fermentation and preserved meats, vegetables, and all kinds of things. And then we have Nanortalik. I really enjoyed this. It has some really beautiful walking trails around here. A really great open air museum. But Nanortalik is unique because it's actually called the place of the polar bears. It is the only town in Greenland where they sometimes see polar bears coming in on floating icebergs. And so it has that nickname to it. It's also called kind of the Arctic Patagonia. It's a great paradise for kayakers, hikers, climbers, and it is also the sunniest place in Greenland. So they say that they are the happiest people because they get the most sun. But again, it's diverse. It's got a really interesting church. Last time I was there, the children of the village actually were doing a choir for the guests. It's just also wonderful. And again, the locals definitely want to take you out on boat rides into the icebergs. There may even be some icebergs in the bay that they can be able to take you around on those. So then we have Korkatok. And Korkatok, you're going to have all the colorful houses. They even have cobbled streets. They have a really cool art project that's going to be here. It's called The Stone and Man, and it's out in the open. I think it's like 40 or 50 stone carvings that are just scattered throughout. It's kind of like a really great trip, like a great little trail hunt for these. And they give the stories of the local legends and the traditions and ways that the Greenlandic people see their land, of their natural beauty and the natural connection that they have with their ancestral land. And it means the white place in Greenlandic. And it's just really a nod to its snow-covered mountains during the winter months for that. So it actually has the best preserved medieval structure and UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a wonderful church that is there, and it's a really cool point. It was the last recorded Viking wedding in 1408. So it's really a poignant reminder of the Norse presence in Greenland. Now, after Greenland, we will go out and we will see the solar eclipse on August 12th. Now, a really important feature about the solar eclipse, and even what happened in Mexico, I'm from Texas, and I was so excited. I mean, we basically here in Austin, the Hill Country, we shut down. There were festivals, there were all kinds of things going on, and then the weather came in, and we could hardly see anything. But we could still see a little bit through the clouds. But the great thing about being on the ship, you're going to be able to maneuver. So if something is not perfect, they will hopefully have the option to maneuver to where maybe a little north, maybe a little south, to where you will still see that path of totality for the solar eclipse. Now, you can go on to Holland America's webpage and see, if you look at the blog, there is actually from, I believe it was April, a time lapse of what the Koningsdam and the Zondam actually saw during the solar eclipse this past year. So it's something that you can expect on the day for that. So again, that's going to be on that's going to be in August 12th, the solar eclipse. And our presenters and our lecturers on board are going to prepare you with all kinds of great context and lectures and, tales, and about the celestial heavens that you could want to prepare you for this. Again, one of those once in a lifetime things that I know when I experienced that made me feel so small, but yet so unique in this vast universe that we all inhabit. So after your celestial experience, we go back to Iceland and we go to Heimaey, one of the Westman Islands. And this is really known for its volcanic history. It's got a volcano called the Eidfjord, and it really reshaped the geography and town of Heimaey. And that exploded actually in 1973, so not too long ago. And you can actually visit a museum, which kind of gives you all kinds of, what the town did, what the people did, and just kind of all the efforts that went underway during that time to help preserve it. And as you can see here, lovely puffin. And this would hopefully be one of the puffin watching opportunities that you'll see. It's one of Europe's just, best prime locations to see these, just the most charming birds that you have. And another fun fact about Heimaey, so there was a pirate raid in the 1600s. And this is known, again, it'll be in the museums, called the Turkish abductions. And I don't know why it was called Turkish, but Algerian pirates actually captured 200 residents, taking them into slavery in the 1600s. And this was just a really dramatic event, and it really remains a big event in this town's history. So you'll actually see quite a few references to it when you're in and around town, but especially in the museum. And then we have our capital, Reykjavik. And this is where you're going to see the Golden Circle tours. Definitely go on a foodie tour if you have a chance. But if you don't have a chance to go on a foodie tour, at least get the hot dogs. They claim that their hot dogs are the best in the world. There's Viking tours and museums, Icelandic courses, of course, the Blue Lagoon. It's going to be great opportunities for you to experience a full day in Reykjavik. And then we have our one and only port in the Faroe Islands, Reykjavik. And this is, again, a great natural wonder. You have the Vestima sea cliffs, which are known for their birds. Again, you have the puffins and other birds there. You can be able to take tours into the capital, Tórshavn, Vagar Island, again, another bird opportunity. One of my favorite things was to take a tour around to the farmsteads that were these little bits and bobs where maybe one family was farming, and they're just in those most picturesque areas that you can find, again, because of how these mountains and surrounding landscapes are shaped for this. But they're very, very close-knit community. The Faroese, they look out for each other. They are all kind of connected through villages that just stretch along the fjords and the coast. So it's definitely something that, and again, a huge history for the Viking history, which has ancient burial sites near Reykjavik as well. Then we have Stornoway, our one and only chance to go into the Scottish Hebrides. And the Hebrides are, so the Outer Hebrides, they're really a culture unto themselves amongst the Scots. And they have a lot of very great taste, a taste of Gaelic traditions, great landscapes. And so walking through the town, it has a lot of maritime history. It has a castle. It has it also has a distillery here, and they have a really great museum where, if you've ever probably seen them, but there's these ancient Viking chess pieces that were actually found washed up on the beach outside on the Isle of Lewis. And most of the chess pieces are actually in the British Museum in London, but a few of the chess pieces stayed here in the local museum. So definitely a really cool way to see that chess was even around during the Viking Age. So it's also known for those people looking for a local delicacy. It is known for their black pudding, which is blood cake or blood sausage. And it actually has earned one of those PGIs, those protected geographical indication statuses. So if you have the Isle of Lewis black pudding, it's kind of like having the Champagne or Parma ham. in that same thing. So it's definitely something to see. And here you can see standing stones as well. The Callanish standing stones, they're from prehistoric time. They're actually older than Stonehenge from here. So, and these are the black houses in Garanenan. I can't ever say it. But the great in, but these have kind of, kind of an open air museum again of days gone by. Then we're into the proper Highlands. We get into Invergordon, which is the gateway to Inverness, the capital of the Highlands. From here, you can have a great day exploring Inverness, maybe a tour of the Highlands, Loch Ness, going into the Glamorgan Distillery to try some of Scottish finest whiskies, Dunrobin Castle, if you're a Downton Abbey fan. That's one of the castles that they used in the series. And it's also got some wonderful opportunities to go see some of the wildlife in the surrounding area as well. Now here we are in Edinburgh, or South Queensferry, just a really quick little drive over to Edinburgh. And this is great because we are here all day and into the early hours of the next morning. And we are going to be here for the French Festival and Military Tattoo. So you will have the opportunity to buy tickets through us, as well as enjoy maybe some of the shows that are happening there. But if that doesn't tickle your fancy, there's also St. Andrew's Golf, the Falkirk Wheel, and the Kelpies, and all sorts of things surrounding Edinburgh, or even just have the day to yourself. And our last port is going to be Dover, seeing the white cliffs of Dover. There's actually walks that you can do from the city over into these chalk-based cliffs. And you can see this even right here. But a wonderful opportunity is to head to Canterbury. I remember growing up reading the Canterbury Tales in English classes. And then even possibly the medieval town of Rye. So that is one of the best preserved medieval towns in all of England. And that will bring you back to Rotterdam. Now, that may have seemed really, really fast going through, but I hope that you will know that you will be able to enjoy it all leisurely on your cruise. So let's talk a bit about the Nieuw Statendam. So we got the Nieuw Statendam. She is one of our Pinnacle class ships, our larger ships at 2,200 passengers. I've given you just a brief visuals of some of the different staterooms that you can utilize. Now, I would say, because this is so much of a scenic cruising opportunity as well, when you get up into the Faroe Islands or in Greenland and Prince Kristiansand and the Norwegian fjords, it's kind of like Alaska. A veranda definitely helps to enjoy it more. But of course, there are inside cabins, there are ocean views, there are suites, anything that you could be able to think of for this once-in-a-lifetime adventure. And you can see we also have pickleball courts, basketballs. We had 2 pools as well for this, and including the dining. Now we have the destination dining where you're really going to have inspired menus from the destinations that we are in, but we'll also have our lovely dining venues for specialty like the Pinnacle Grill, Canaletto. We also are going to be adding menu items for the destinations that you are in into the specialty dining as well. And then we're also going to have Rudy Seldamer, the Tamarind, as well as the Dutch Cafe, and that is going to be during your evening and your mornings. We also have a wonderful array of entertainment, including the BB King's Blues Club, Billboard on board. We have the Rolling Stone Rock Room, pickleball, the World Stage, our lectures for the Exploration Central. So there's just going to be just some wonderful opportunities, whether you're on board or ashore. Now, one of the better things about this cruise will be that it is hosted by one of our wonderful travel advisors here at Travel Central, Miss Mary Ann Fender. And I will tell you that Miss Mary Ann is a well-traveled individual, and she is very, very familiar with Holland America, having sailed on board multiple cruises with us. So we are so excited that she is offering her experience and her expertise onto this fabulous cruise. So the promotions that we have right now, well, we have an early booking bonus till the end of February for this cruise. So you will have a group price, and I'll talk to you about that here in a little bit, but the early booking bonus will give you the have it all options with a opportunity to get prepaid crew gratuities. That's about $1,000 in savings. So what is have it all? Have it all is pre-purchasing your amenities at more than half off. So you're going to get 3 nights specialty dining, $300 of shore excursion credit, and this is per person. A signature beverage package, which is 15 drinks a day under $11. And that's everything. That's water bottles, that's Coke, that's specialty coffee in the Dutch Cafe. It's everything. And then you also have the Wi-Fi surf package. And we have Starlink, and this gets you your emails, this gets you on Facebook, this gets you on your internet, everything you need. But if you buy it before February 28th and just do a deposit, don't have to pay for the whole thing, but just do a deposit because it is in 2026, you will also get prepaid crew gratuities. Again, that's $1,000 value that you are saving. You're also going to get a premium Wi-Fi. So if you want to do any streaming, you need to make sure that you watch the newest Bridgerton or the Great British Bake Off. And then you also have the free upgrade for the elite beverage package, which is 15 drinks a day under $15. If you want that little extra scotch, you can be able to enjoy that. Now, if you do ever purchase anything that's above that price, it'll just be the difference. So if you're having a glass of wine that's $35, let's just say, you would just be paying the difference between that $15 and $35. Hopefully that wine would be lovely. So I want to also mention the community appreciation. So for any of our retired or active teachers, educators, faculty members, staff at any educational institute in the US or Canada, let your travel advisor know there is a link that you can fill out and you will get $100 extra onboard credit. This is also for active retired military and veteran service members, also active for our first responders, firemen, police officers, and such. You will all enjoy $100 extra onboard credit per stateroom. Plus, this will be on any future cruise that you take with us, and that will be done automatically. In addition, we are also the cruise partner of AARP. So you would be able to get $200 extra onboard credit for this cruise if you decide to do a veranda or a suite, or $100 for an insider ocean view. And it's the same thing. You just need to fill out a link. Now, the only thing about this is that AARP is very, very specific, and you have to fill this link, before your travel advisor books. It's very, very particular for the AARP people. So just please make sure you do that before your travel advisor and deposits on your room. All right, so what is included on this hosted sailing? Well, you're going to get exclusive group amenities. You're going to get an outstanding host and an outstanding value. And these are the current prices for this month-long cruise. Now, we do have, for the next 2 weeks, an added onboard credit offer. So if you do book anything, and these are prices that are just going to be just the cruise. All right, so just the cruise, not the have it all. But you would also get these extra amenities if you do purchase have it all. Now, for example, again, because we have this great relationship with Travel Central, I did look at, for example, here's like a balcony, right, for $6,963. Now, if you add the have it all and get all of these great amenities plus the extra onboard credit, that would come out to $8,643. But this is something that you would not have to worry about. You're not going to have to be thinking about how many drinks you've had for these 20 days. Everything's basically taken care of. Publicly, that is the public price for this is $1,000 more. You are saving $1,000 per person by booking through Travel Central on this group. So that is just going to be like the price of either whether you get to have it all or whether you don't. The price online, which you see with direct, is going to be about little less than it's going to be a little less than it's like $989 per person that you are saving. So that's almost $2,000 that you're saving per person by booking through Travel Central with that. And with that, I thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Kristen. Man, what a cruise and what a deal! I mean, isn't this? It's a 28. Is it 28 nights? And it's in that balcony cabin is $8,000 with your Wi-Fi and your drinks.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hardly hard to stay at home with all those kind of different things going on. But anyway, just to remind you, Travel Central is here to be your resource. Our goal is to be update on all the current things that are going on in the industry, making sure that our clients get the best value, and answering questions on the things that's what we do. You have a dedicated advisor listed to you who will answer those questions and help you throughout your whole travel experience. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope that it was interesting. If real quick, if you have any questions, put it in the chat box and we can answer those questions. We did record this. We will be sending out the recording to everyone who registered for this event. And again, here's on our phone number and our website. So if you do have questions, you can either just give us a ring and we'll be happy to help you with that. I think Kristen did a great job. I don't see any questions. Thank you everyone for joining us today and have a good evening. Bye bye now.